If your car feels slower, rougher, or less fuel efficient than it did a few years ago, there's a silent killer building up inside your engine right now. And no, it's not bad fuel. It's not worn spark plugs. It's not your transmission. It's carbon buildup. What's shocking is this. Most mechanics fix carbon problems using aggressive chemicals that can actually damage engines long term. But in Japan, where engines routinely last 300,000 to 400,000 miles, mechanics use a simple chemical-free method that cleans carbon naturally while the engine is running. No additives, no engine flushes, no teardown. Stay until the end, because this Japanese trick works so well that many shops don't want customers knowing it exists. Section 1. What carbon buildup really does to your engine. Carbon buildup isn't just dirt. It's hardened fuel residue that forms on intake valves, piston crowns, combustion chambers, and exhaust components. Modern engines are especially vulnerable because of direct injection, higher combustion pressures, thinner oil rings, and EGR systems recycling exhaust gases. Here's what carbon buildup causes over time. Loss of power, rough, idle, increased oil consumption, poor fuel economy, pre-ignition, and knocking. But the worst part? Carbon traps heat. That extra heat breaks down oil faster, stresses piston rings, accelerates wear. Many engines don't wear out, they carbon out. Section 2. Why chemical cleaners often make things worse. You've seen them. Intake spray cleaners, fuel system additives, engine flush chemicals. They promise instant results, and sometimes they work, temporarily. But here's what Japanese mechanics know that others ignore. Aggressive solvents loosen carbon, too fast, break chunks free, wash debris into piston rings and oil passages. That can lead to clogged oil pickup screens, damaged catalytic converters, scored cylinder walls. This is why many longtime Japanese technicians avoid chemical shock cleaning. Instead, they prefer controlled, gradual carbon removal. Slow is safe, fast is risky. Section 3. The Japanese philosophy: burn it away, don't dissolve it. This is the core difference. At once, in Japan, carbon is removed by combustion control, not chemical attack. Why? Because carbon is carbon, and carbon burns. If you raise temperature correctly and consistently, Japanese engineers understand that. Sustained combustion heat, correct air-fuel ratio, and steady airflow will oxidize carbon naturally without damaging metal surfaces. This is the foundation of the Japanese trick. Section 4. The Japanese carbon removal trick. Overview. Before we get into the exact steps, here's what this method is not. Not an additive, not a flush, not a spray, not an aggressive rev and pray trick. Instead, it's a controlled driving and airflow method designed to raise combustion temperature, safely maintain stable oil pressure, avoid thermal shock. This method has been quietly used by Japanese taxi fleets, delivery vehicles, high-mileage commuter cars. And it's one of the reasons those engines stay clean internally. Section 5. Step 1. Engine must be fully warmed. This is critical. The biggest mistake people make when trying to clean carbon is doing it on a cold engine. Japanese mechanics never do this. Here's why. Cold engines have tighter clearances, thicker oil, uneven combustion. If you attempt high-load operation too early, you cause more carbon, not less. The Japanese rule: oil temperature must be fully stabilized. That usually means at least 15 to 20 minutes of normal driving, coolant and oil fully warm, no shortcuts. Section 6, Step 2, sustained mid-RPM operation, not redline. Here's where most YouTube advice goes wrong. The Japanese method does not involve redlining the engine. Instead, it uses steady RPM between 2,500 to 3,500 RPM, sustained for 15 to 30 minutes under light to moderate load. Why this works? Combustion temperature rises steadily. Carbon oxidizes gradually. Oil pressure remains stable. This temperature window is hot enough to burn carbon, but not hot enough to damage components. Japanese highway systems make this easy. Elsewhere, it can be done on long highway drives, steady rural roads. Stop-and-go traffic does not work. Section 7. Why this works on direct injection engines. Direct injection engines are notorious for intake valve carbon buildup. Chemical cleaners often fail here because fuel never washes. The valve's sprays can't reach evenly, chunks break loose. The Japanese method helps because higher sustained airflow, stable exhaust heat, controlled combustion. Raise temperatures in the intake and combustion chamber enough to slowly burn deposits. Is it as aggressive as walnut blasting? Number. Is it safer? Absolutely. Japanese mechanics prefer prevention and gradual cleaning over invasive methods. Section 8. The role of quality fuel. No additives needed. Another key detail. Japanese mechanics rely on quality fuel, not additives. Higher quality fuel burns cleaner, leaves fewer deposits, supports higher combustion stability. They don't pour cleaners into the tank. They let combustion chemistry do the work. This is why carbon buildup returns quickly in cars that rely on additives, but continue poor driving patterns. Section 9. What you should feel after this method works. When carbon starts clearing gradually, drivers often notice smoother throttle response, quieter idle, reduced knocking or hesitation. Improved fuel economy over time. Not instantly, not dramatically, but consistently. That's the Japanese way. Section 10. Why this trick isn't popular outside Japan. Simple answer, it doesn't sell products, no bottle, no service package, no dramatic before and after photos, just discipline and understanding. And because results are gradual, many people assume it does nothing. But engines tell a different story years later. Section 11. How often Japanese drivers use this trick. This is the secret. Here's where most people get it wrong. This Japanese method is not a one-time fix. It's a maintenance habit. In Japan, experienced drivers and fleet operators use this technique. Once every 2 to 4 weeks for daily driven cars, once a month for low-mileage vehicles before oil changes, not after. Why? Because carbon buildup is continuous. Waiting until symptoms appear means the damage has already started. Japanese mechanics don't fix carbon problems. They never let them form. That's the real difference. Section 12. The exact duration that matters. Too short, just useless. Another myth, just rev it for a few minutes. That does nothing. Carbon does not burn instantly. It oxidizes slowly at sustained temperature. The Japanese standard minimum 20 minutes at stable mid-RPM, ideally 30 minutes if conditions allow. Anything under 10 minutes raises heat but doesn't sustain it, leaves carbon untouched. This is why short Italian tune-ups fail. Carbon needs time, not violence. Section 13. Why this method protects piston rings, not just valves. This is the part even many mechanics miss. Carbon buildup doesn't just sit on valves. It creeps behind piston rings. When that happens, rings stick, oil control fails, oil consumption rises, compression drops. Chemical flushes can actually wash debris into the ringlands, making things worse. The Japanese method avoids this because carbon burns. Gradually, particles are microscopic. Combustion removes residue safely. This is one reason Japanese engines often show excellent compression, even at 250,000 to 300,000 miles. Low oil consumption compared to similar engines elsewhere. Section 14. When you should not use this method. This is critical. Do not use this trick if your engine already has severe knocking, oil pressure is low, the check engine light is flashing, the engine overheats under normal driving. This method is preventive, not a rescue mission. If an engine is already damaged, pushing heat will accelerate failure. Japanese mechanics inspect first, then apply, never the other way around. Section 15. Why this works better than walnut blasting. Long term, walnut blasting removes intake carbon fast, does nothing for piston crowns, does nothing for ringlands, does nothing for exhaust carbon. The Japanese method works everywhere combustion reaches, improves overall thermal efficiency, prevents future buildup. One is surgery, the other is lifestyle. Japan chooses lifestyle. Section 16, the oil factor. Most people ignore. Japanese mechanics pair this trick with shorter oil intervals, not thicker oil. Why? Burned carbon ends up suspended in oil trapped by filters. If you extend oil intervals too long, carbon stays in circulation, oil degrades faster. That's why many Japanese vehicles use 5,000 to 7,500 kilometers, 3,000 to 5,000 miles intervals. Even with full synthetic oil, clean oil equals clean engine. Section 17, real-world results from Japanese fleet vehicles. Taxi fleets in Japan routinely reach 400,000 plus miles on original engines. Their routine includes consistent warm-up, monthly sustained mid-RPM drives, conservative oil intervals, zero chemical flushes. Engines don't stay clean by luck. They stay clean by habit. Section 18. Why modern engines need this more than old ones. Ironically, modern engines carbon up faster because of direct injection, EGR systems, low-tension piston rings, thinner oils. Older engines could tolerate neglect. Modern ones can't. That's why this Japanese trick is more important now than ever. Section 19. What this method will not do. Be honest. Let's be clear. This method will not fix broken parts, restore damaged rings instantly, clean catastrophic sludge, but it will slow wear dramatically, check stabilize performance, extend engine life year after year. Japanese mechanics don't promise miracles, they promise longevity. Section 20. Why most drivers never learn this. Because it's boring. No product, no drama, no instant results. But engines don't care about drama. They care about physics. And physics rewards consistency. Think like a Japanese engineer. Carbon isn't an enemy. It's a byproduct of poor habits. Change the habit, and carbon disappears on its own. That's why Japanese engines don't last longer by accident. They last longer by design and discipline. If this surprised you, comment carbon below. And if you want the Japanese oil change habits that push engines past 300,000 miles, you already know what to do next.